Cecile, let me begin with you because you have been in this struggle for virtually your entire professional life. And I just want to get your reaction to the news that we appear to be now at that spot where Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned.
So, Lawrence, I think I feel like a lot of women I'm seeing writing in now, which is we've known this was coming because the Republican Party has been committed to overturning the right to legal abortion for years. And as we saw them stack the Supreme Court, we've seen them run on this. We've seen them state by state pass these horrific abusive laws against women. But I have to say, even though I intellectually was ready for it, I'm just distraught. And it obviously the harm, just the frank cruelty, even in the opinion, or this leaked opinion, the willingness to trade off women and women's rights for people's own personal political views is sickening. And I don't know. I guess that's my initial reaction.
Let's go to, I want to go, before we proceed, I want to go to this ritual in our Supreme Court confirmation hearings about Roe versus Wade. There have always been these questions about Roe versus Wade, and it became a game for nominees and to some extent on both sides to avoid the question. Very few have dealt with the question in any kind of direct way. But let's look at Samuel Alito's confirmation hearing answer tonight, right now, his answer to questions about Roe versus Wade. He is the author now of this opinion that will overturn Roe versus Wade. Let's listen to what Alito said about it in his confirmation hearing.
Let me move on to another important quotation out of Casey. Quote, "A terrible price would be paid for overruling Casey, for overruling Roe. It would seriously weaken the court's capacity to exercise the judicial power and to function as the Supreme Court of a nation dedicated to the rule of law. To overrule Roe under fire would subvert the court's legitimacy." Do you see the legitimacy of the court being involved in the precedent of Casey?
Well, I think that the court and all the courts, the Supreme Court, my court, all of the federal courts should be insulated from public opinion. They should do what the law requires in all instances. That's why the members of the judiciary are not elected. We have a basically democratic form of government, but the judiciary is not elected, and that's the reason, so that they don't do anything under fire. They do what the law requires.
But do you think there is as fundamental a concern as legitimacy of the court would be involved if Roe were to be overturned?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that the legitimacy of the court would be undermined in any case if the court made a decision based on its perception of public opinion. It should make its decisions based on the Constitution and the law. It should not sway in the wind of public opinion at any time.
Dahlia Lithwick, what did we or should we have learned in that answer in his confirmation hearing?
Yeah, that was the tell, Lawrence. He was being very, very transparent that Casey, which is a protracted meditation on stare decisis and the need of the court to not reverse course willy-nilly because people have a reliance interest. They order their lives around constitutional protections that are afforded them. What you just heard Justice Alito say was pretty much what he put in this draft opinion, which is not my problem. And it's really interesting because if you look at the polling is not close here. Americans really, really, really did not want to see Roe overturned. And so I think what Justice Alito just told us was, don't care.
Professor Goodwin, is there anything, this opinion says that basically it goes back to the states. All 50 states can make their own decisions about abortion now. But does the court in this opinion say that the Congress must stay out of it, or that the Congress can then overrule the state's decisions?
So the court does not say that Congress must stay out of it, but I'd also like to correct a few things too, Lawrence, which is that this is a playbook that we've seen before. And if you think about the stripping away of other constitutional protections, let's think about voting rights and the Shelby County decision, which has upended the right for many to be able to vote in the United States, particularly people of Black and brown communities across the United States. That stripping away has led to the undermining not only of voting rights, but essentially of abortion rights as well. And it's important that we stitch together these histories and not see this in isolation. There is a playbook that runs thickly between racial oppression in the United States and that baked into law. So let's remember that states' rights laws, that's the Jim Crow playbook. And what we're about to see is the Jane Crow playbook, which is going to be the companion to the Jim Crow playbook. We see that revisited through voter suppression. And now what we see quite explicitly is how this court, under its current formation, is ready to yank the rug out underneath what, as you've described, is a 49-year protection that was not a close decision, a 7-2 opinion, with 5 of those justices being Republican appointed, and Justice Blackmun, who wrote the opinion in Roe, being placed on the court by Richard Nixon. So what we see is completely antithetical to Republican history. Prescott Bush being the treasurer of Planned Parenthood. We are seeing a time that for people who are articulating being afraid of what these times represent, they should be and count not just the attack on abortion, because next will be attacks on contraception. They're already happening. We already saw that in the Hobby Lobby case. And we're already seeing attacks on sex education in schools as well.